Sir, good morning. I am Midshipman Christopher Somo, and this is the topic 3 about MARPOL Annex 1 6 Mandatory Regulation and Legislative Requirements. Mandatory regulation is the context of MARPOL International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. The term mandatory regulation refers to a set of rules and standards that must be followed by ships to ensure compliance with the convention. These regulations are not optional, they are obligatory and binding for all ships falling under the scope of MARPOL. The mandatory regulation cover various aspects of pollution prevention and environmental protection in the maritime industry. Each MARPOL annex addresses specific types of pollution and outlet regulation to prevent or minimize these pollutants. The mandatory nature of this regulation emphasized the commitment of the international community to safeguard the marine environment and reduce the impact of shipping activities. MARPOL Annex 1 Oil Pollution Prevention. Mandatory regulation focus on the prevention of oil pollution from ships, including regulation for oil tankers, oil record books, oil discharge monitoring equipment, and shipboard oil pollution emergency plans. MARPOL Annex 2 Noxious Liquid Substances. Mandatory regulation address the prevention of pollution by noxious liquid substances carried in bulk. This includes regulation for the construction and equipment of the ship and categorization of substances and procedures for discharge. MARPOL Annex 3 Harmful Substances in Package Form. Mandatory regulation cover the prevention of pollution by harmful substances in the package form. This includes labeling, packing, and documentation requirements for the transport of packaged dangerous goods. MARPOL Annex 4 Sewage Pollution Prevention. Mandatory regulation focus on preventing pollution by sewage by setting standards for sewage treatment system, discharge criteria, and the implementation of shipboard marine pollution and emergency plans. MARPOL Annex 5 Garbage Pollution Prevention. Mandatory regulation address the prevention of pollution by garbage from ships. This regulation include requirements for the disposal of various types of garbage, special areas in the management of ship-generated garbage. MARPOL 6 Annex 6 Air Pollution Prevention. Mandatory regulation and prevention air pollution from ship by setting standard for emission of sulfur oxide, nitrogen oxide, and particulate matter. The annex also includes energy efficiency measures. Compliance with this mandatory regulation is initial for ship operators, and failures to adhere to them can result in penalties and consequences, including fines, detention, and restriction on ship movement. The goal is to ensure a uniform and high standard of environment protection across the international maritime community. The other topic is legislative requirements. In the context of MARPOL International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, the term legislative refers to the specific laws and regulations so that have establishment by the contracting parties country to implement and enforce the prevention of MARPOL Annexes 1 to 6. These legislative requirements are the domestic law by individual countries to give effect to the international standard and obligation set out in MARPOL. MARPOL Annex 1 Oil Pollution Prevention. Legislative requirements may include national regulation governing the construction and equipment of oil tankers, oil spill response plans, requirements for oil record books, and penalty for violation related to oil pollution prevention. MARPOL Annex 2 Noxious Liquid Substances. Countries' legislative requirements to ensure compliance with the regulation outlined in Annex 2. This may include law related to construction and equipment of ships carrying noxious liquid substances, procedure for the assurance for international pollution prevention and certificate, and penalties from non-compliance. MARPOL Annex 3 Harmful Substances in Package Form. Legislative requirements cover the domestic implementation of regulation related on the packing, labeling, and documentation of packing harmful countries, establishment law, and enforce proper handling, stowage, and transport of dangerous goods. MARPOL Annex 4, Sewage Pollution Prevention. Legislative requirements in the context involve national laws that translate the standard and guidelines that outline in Annex 4 into domestic regulation. MARPOL 5, Annex 5, Garbage Pollution Prevention. Legislative requirements encompass domestic law addressing the prevention of pollution by the garbage from ship. MARPOL Annex 6, Air Pollution Prevention. Legislative requirements related to the annex involve domestic law addressing air pollution prevention from ship. And that's all. Thank you. Puta, ginataas kayo.